Welcome to another episode of Two Old Geeks Talking. Now on the World Wide Web.
Hey, welcome to Two Old Geeks Talking. I'm Rob.
I'm Trace.
And today we'll be talking about
retro gaming. Okay? And this isn't retro. But that's what we're talking about. And why are we talking about it? Well, first of all, do you know what Gen Z is?
Yeah.
So our kids, we're Generation X. Our kids are millennials, and their kids are Generation Z.
See, I was wondering about that. When you said retro, what's retro to us is not retro to the Gen Z.
Right, and the thing is Gen Z goes all the way from people that turn 14 years this old, like my son Ronan, or like my grandson Ronan, and then all the way up to 29.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to talk about why Gen Z loves retro gaming. We're going to actually look at a retro gaming place we have here in Frankfort, Kentucky. It is called Retro Social Arcade. And it was a really cool place. And we went there and videotaped. We'll show you that. And then we'll discuss why Gen Z loves retro so much. So we'll start out by taking a look at this arcade place. So it's here in Frankfort. It's on Twilight Trail. I think the address is 1007 Twilight Trail. And they're open to like midnight on Friday and Saturday. On school nights, they usually shut down around 10 p.m. And so that's a long name, Retro Social Arcade. I mean, they should have made it even longer. Ultimate.
Well, maybe they should just call it
Capital
RSA.
City Retro Social Arcade. But anyway, it was a cool place. They got a bar inside, but they also, they opened it up for birthday parties and stuff like that. And they've got over 50 games. And we went there and had such a ball.
Right.
Highly recommend it if you live in the area. If you don't live in the area, it's worth the drive. Capital City, Kentucky. And so they had pinball machines as well. And how it works is you pay $10 and you get to play all the games you want as long as you want. And all the games are set to free play, except for the pinballs. You do have to put quarters into those. And so we'll show that video now. Insert video. Take a smile, Robert.
On Granny's old television.
Sunset Rider. Cheers!
1 hour later.
Hey, we're back. All right, before we go, we're going to add a little thing. Me and him always have had mead every time we have a video. So we have a new mead today. And no, it's not our sponsor. I had to buy it. But it's called Freya's Finest Ashgard Mead. So you liked it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Should we start grading this stuff?
The mead? Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. If you don't want to, go ahead.
I'll give it a 9.5.
Oh, yeah. I'll give it a 9.4.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, what is it about Gen Z that they like all retro stuff? So this generation, if you told me 20 years ago that people were going to go back to vinyl records, I would have been really surprised.
Right.
And yet there's a place here in Frankfurt that's all they do is sell old vinyl records. I think it's just the tactile response. In other words, like it's fun to hold something in your hand instead of downloading music. You actually get to have the
Plus,
album.
I think
put the album on there.
sound. I think people actually enjoy that little bit of white noise along with it.
Probably, and then, but it's also gone over to like movies. A lot of your Gen Z is canceling their streaming services, and they're starting to collect DVDs, Blu-rays, and making their own little Blockbuster in their own basement or in their own little room, and have bookshelves instead of having books on them. They'll have them full of DVDs and Blu-rays. So they like that physical media. They like to be able to, touch something.
Well, that's good.
And that's transferred over to gaming, where a lot of games now you download. They want a physical copy of it. And so what they like about retro gaming is just simpler. It's offline. So most of your modern games you have to be online to be able to play.
Right.
And so with retro games, it's not the case. Also, there's no download times. I mean, if I buy a new game, put it in, sometimes it's an hour before I can play it because it's got to download. And then you've got continuous updates. You go to play it after you've had the game for a month, a year, and you turn it on, and you have to download a bunch of crap and patches.
Additional drops.
Right. So whereas with retro gaming, you just stick in the disc or you stick in the cartridge and you're ready to go.
And you get to play from beginning to end.
Absolutely. And plus there's something you can get, and there's pretty low cost too, which is called an emulator. What an emulator is, it allows you to play old games on a new machine or on a new computer. And so so those are reasonable, and a lot of people have started to get into those. Well, there's a place here in Frankfurt called the Swap Shop, and I'll show you a picture of it. Insert picture right now. But what it is it's like a pawn shop. But what they do is they sell games, and that's one of their biggest sellers. And they call it the Swap Shop, but basically it's just it's like a pawn shop. They go and buy and sell things, and some of the things that they've sold is retro games, and some of these games are really, really expensive. Like they had one there that was called Air Zonk, and it's by Turbo Graphics, and it was $400 for that game cartridge.
Dang on.
They had a PlayStation 2 Silent Hill for $175.
Did they have any of the game systems?
Yes, they had the game systems too. They had the old Wii. They had the original Xbox, Xbox 360, PlayStation 2. There was a Wii game called Rhythm Heaven Fever, and it was $140. And they had one that was called Def Jam Fight for New York, and it was $175. So retro gaming has become a collectible. There's people that collect the old, hard-to-find games too.
Right.
Most of the games you can pick up for little or nothing. And so that's another reason that Gen Z like it, because they're strapped for cash just like everybody else. So it allows them to get off their phone, allows them to get away from the internet, and they just find it more relaxing and focused and rewarding. Also, a lot of your AAA companies, AAA gaming companies, they've really turned off younger gamers because you have to have a live service to play, or you have to have a season pass to play. They kill you with these microtransactions.
Right.
So you buy a game, and they're like, okay, you bought this game. Congratulations, you bought the console, you bought the game, you put it in, you let it load for an hour. Now, if you want this horse, you're going to have to pay extra.
Or the skin.
Yeah. You want this certain skin, so they drag you down with microtransactions or loot boxes you can get. And what's great about a retro game too is that they were finished when you got them. So in other words, like when you released a disc back in the day, when you released a disc back in the day, there was no patching it. There was no updating it.
Right.
And so that game had to be complete when you got it. And so one of the world's...
And they had replayability.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Back in the day when I used to review games, that was the number one criteria.
Yeah.
It was, can I replay it? Will I be willing to replay it?
Yeah. And so you don't run into like this infamous game, Cyberpunk 2077, which they released it, and it was like a year before you could play it.
That's crazy.
I mean, they had patch after patch after patch after patch, and it just kept crashing and crashing. And they knew that when they released it. Whereas if this had come out 10, 15, 20 years earlier, it would have had to been a complete game. You wouldn't have been able to patch it. So, people got aggravated over that.
Well, I mean, they've rushed games even back in the day. The whole ET thing is a good example of where they rushed to get a game out. So even retro games have, bad stories of bad quality games from time to time. It's not like every retro game is gold.
And also another thing is they're not constantly hitting you up for monetization. And so this is a game I really like. I played the first Hitman. It was a computer game. It was called Hitman Codename 47. And so they've got Hitman World of Assassination. And so you can log on and it gives you different missions. But the bad thing is every time you log on, they're trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
Eidos, who made this game, just got through releasing a James Bond game called The Dying Light. And for the last month, every time I'd log on, I'd have to close out a screen where it was advertising their new game. So, I just want to play a game. I don't want to watch commercials, so that's an aggravation as well. But like you said, the old games had high replayability, and where the younger generation is getting exposed to these games at is from their millennial parents or even their Gen X grandparents. So for instance, I started playing with my grandson 2 years ago. I showed him Batman Arkham Knights.
Right.
So that game is come out 2013, so it is 13 years old. So it came out at the time he came out. And so he was blown away at the graphics and how fun that game was, but he never ever heard of it because a lot of new players only are familiar with new games, the games that are getting ready to come out. So a lot of your retro gamers have been exposed to retro gaming by their millennial parents or their Gen X grandparents.
Kind of makes me wish I kept some of my old systems. I used to turn them in I'd like go to Blockbuster, turn them in, get the newest system with that discount from turning in the old system.
Right.
Because I kept mine immaculate. It was dust free. Everything was running properly. All the cordage was there. The controllers were there, and I'd get a good chunk of money for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And now with all everybody going back and picking up the old games, it kind of makes me wish I'd kind of kept them.
Well, I mean, you go to buy an old system. I mean, you go buy a new system, and you're looking $500-$600. You go buy an old system, you can pick it up for $150, $100-$150.
I don't know, but
so some of the old systems. But another one I played with my grandson Ronan was Halo 3. He never heard of Halo. So
are you serious?
Yeah. So you have to realize that was before him. So Halo 3 is one of the best games that come out. And what's so great about it is couch co-op.
Damn, you're old.
Yes, I am. so we can sit there beside each other and play, and instead of logging on online through an online service, his controller is connected to the console, my controller is connected to the console. We don't need internet connection,
right?
And we were able to play together, and that was big fun, and that was a new experience for him. After that, we did the couch co-op with Splinter Cell. Never had heard of Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. So it's like he's discovering all these retro games through his grandfather. And currently, this summer, as we continue our tradition, we're playing Gears of War. Now, I did get the updated version for Xbox One, but it's the original Gears of War that came out a long time ago. And we're doing the whole couch co-op on that. So that's fun. But it's important to try to own physical copies of the game. And a lot of people want that. And so I want to bring up like Star Trek Resurgence, which is a game I bought and I haven't played yet. I look forward to playing it. But recently they announced they were retiring that game from PlayStation for you to be able to download it. So that means if you don't have a copy, I've had this copy for a year, still haven't played the game yet. But if you don't have a copy, you're not going to be able to play the game. You're not going to be able to download it.
I've always wondered about that. It's people that bought the stuff. And I don't know how it works. You just keep it in the cloud? You pay for it and it just stays in the cloud?
Right. And once they discontinue it, it's gone. So you don't truly own it. Another great thing about retro games is that they just don't have the nonsense that a lot of new games have. So, for instance, like Dragon Age, my wife Teresa, which is a silent member of 20 Geeks, she loved this series, and she was so looking forward to it coming out again, and because it was coming out with a new one called Dragon Age Veilguard. Well, they put all this identity politics and all this queer stuff in there, and I mean, it was just, she didn't get it. And matter of fact, nobody got it, and that studio that made it had put so much money into it, BioWare, and they'd had so many bad games in a row that they went out. That they shut down. So BioWare's gone. But retro games, whether you're talking about the old Nintendo or the PlayStation 1, 2, or 3. I mean, right now I'm playing Red Dead Redemption. Picked it up for little or nothing, the original one. Right. And the graphics are still great in it. So it's kind of interesting to see the new generation go back and play those. The hardware is affordable, more affordable. The games are more affordable. A new game right now, if they ever come out with Red Dead Redemption 3, you know what it's going to cost? Oh, Lord. It'd probably be $90. Yeah. But anyway, that's all I got on retro gaming. Other than we're going to show Teresa recently picked up a little Nintendo system, and it's got I had like 600 games on it. I'll let her explain it. So we'll have a little clip of that.
Hello, I'm Teresa, and my husband actually wanted me to come on here because I bought this whole new little system at a flea market, and since we're talking about retro games, he just wanted me to go through and talk about it. So let me show you the case. So here is the case, which I got at a flea market. It has no UPC code, so I'm sure it is a knockoff. But it looks like a little Nintendo O-style system. It's supposed to have 620 games. It does have a lot of games. not 620. It has probably maybe 200 or 300 because it does repeat itself. So when you're going through there, it'll say Contra. And then after you go through like 30 games or so, it'll say Contra again. So it does repeat itself. So it's probably got about 200 to 300 games. One of my favorites here is Mario, which you can see. It does look like the original, so I really like Mario. And I'm a really big fan of Mario. And here lately, I've been playing a lot of older games because I'm a big fan of older games. Older games are a whole lot better. One of my top older games or retro games, you want to say, oh, I'm getting ready to get die, and I need to jump up on here. But anyways, is Tomb Raider. I started Tomb Raider from the PS1 and worked my way up and played every single Tomb Raider game. They do have a PS5 Tomb Raider remastered for Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3, which I got. And if you ever want to go back to the older Tomb Raiders, these are great. The graphics, it's hard to get past the graphics. Not used to being able to play games now and then going back and playing older games. The graphics are way significant different. One of my all-time favorites, which this is a newer one for Switch, but Zelda. That's why I purchased this little Nintendo, because I was hoping Zelda would be on there. Zelda is not on there, but Zelda is my all-time favorite. Of course, this is one of my Zelda games from Switch, but I guess that's it. And I just wanted to let you know about the retro games. Thank you.
And that's pretty much it for retro gaming. You got anything else, brother?
No, sir.
All right, man. Stay geeky. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and notification bell. And I'm done. You done?
I'm done.
All right, we're done. We are done.